Let's bring in co-host of The Five. She's here in Studio M a couple hours early, get the head start. Judge Jeanine Pirro. Judge, good morning.
Good morning.
Clearly self-defense. And now the more we see, the more we realize he wasn't the aggressor. He was up against the wall, and he's trying to make an escape, and the guy grabs him, so he stabs him.
And he says, I don't want a problem.
Right. Look, this is a microcosm of what's going on in the country. The victims are seen as either irrelevant or the people that we're going to go after. The criminals are excused, they're released, whatever it is. And this is just an example of it, everybody. This is coming to your town if it isn't there already. The problem here is that the woman comes in to buy chips. She has a card, some kind of a debit card. It's a government debit card. Doesn't work. She goes and gets her boyfriend. He is a career criminal, a gangbanger. He's been in state's prison, not jail, state's prison several times. He corners him. He pushes him down, then he pulls him up, and then he pushes him down again. This man, who is the owner of the Bodega, he only, after he realizes he can't get away from this kid who's twice as strong, half his age, he decides he's going to stab him. He stabs him. It's called the right of self-defense. You have the right to defend yourself in the United States of America if you believe that you are being faced with deadly lethal force. And he knew that, and that's why he attacked. Now, we do not have a stand your ground law in New York. And what Fernando Mateo and this United Bodega workers are talking about is getting a stand your ground law where you do not have an obligation, as you do in New York, to escape. We have a castle doctrine. You can kill if someone's coming to kill you in your home. But if you're not in your home, you pretty much have to escape. He was cornered. He had nowhere to go.
And he tried to get around. They said that was key. He tried to get around. Judge, how about this? When the cops show up, he's standing there. He goes, listen, I'll tell you the story, and this is what happened. They arrest him and put him in Rikers.
Yeah.
Why, is that standard? He's like, listen, I'm in the bodega. This is what happened. Obviously, he's got no background. Defending myself. Why did he go to Rikers? Do you find that standard that he went to Rikers?
No, I don't find that standard at all. In a situation like that, you speak to the assistant DA. It's a homicide. They had to get involved. Now, you know it's a progressive DA. They don't believe in jailing anybody. They've got this guy who goes to work every day at noontime. He gets home at 3 in the morning. Every day. Every day. He's 61 years old. Never had a problem. Clean record. Has de-escalated all kinds of problems in that bodega. And all this will come out. And the other guy was a dirtbag. He's dead. He deserved to die because of what he did. This man had a right to defend himself. That's the end of it.
What do you do if this does happen to us? Because everyone's worried in New York. What do you do if someone comes up to you? Do you have to, by law, try to defuse the situation, and then you could use force or you could use a weapon?
You have to use your common sense. That's the first thing. You know, if you can get away with not dealing with some of the crazies that are out there. But there is, in New York, there is no stand your ground. You have a duty to escape. You have to, if there is a reasonable way of escaping, you have to do it. And he tried to.
The mayor stood up for him and said the bodega owner seems to have done the right thing.
Yeah, the mayor did.
Is that important?
Yeah, but the mayor doesn't stand up enough. Okay? If the mayor were standing up for the people of New York City, what he would say is we've got to stop the cashless bail. We've got people using guns. We send them out. As soon as we arrest them, then we let them go. And somebody like this, who's a hardworking man, who is covered by the law of self-defense clearly in New York, we jail him in Rikers.
Well, the only reason the mayor came to his defense was because it's on the front page of all the papers all the time now.
Yeah.
And you know, this town looks terrible.
Any normal person would do the same thing.
Absolutely.
You're trying to prevent you from dying.
All right. Meanwhile, the judge is busy. Not only is she going to be
very busy
hosting The Five tonight, but over on Fox Nation, she's hosting Who is Hunter Biden? Part 2. Here's a clip about Hunter's suspicious businesses. Oh, good.
There was $145,000 odd that went into his bank account, and the purchase was from this oligarch for a car.
Rocky Shev wired the money for Hunter to get a Fisker Karma, an electric sports car. It's a transaction now under scrutiny as Vice President Joe Biden pushed hard for the company to get a massive loan, which the vehicle's manufacturer ultimately defaulted on. Hunter didn't even like the car. He swapped it for a Porsche.
It's rough being Hunter Biden. Check out part 2, Who is Hunter Biden, over on Fox Nation. Judge, thank you very much for dropping by.
I want to talk about Hunter Biden.
Well, just real quick, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen now?
Well, first of all, he's under investigation, but the truth is Merrick Garland is running it. But look, when you think of first families, you think of like people with a little class. Talk about a dirtbag. This guy is a drug dealer. He's a sex-crazed man. He's going through Europe with a vacuum cleaner. His father lies about it. His father, I don't know anything about his business dealings. He now is caught in the lie. We've got him caught in the lie. Mr. President, why don't you explain? Why did you lie about saying that you didn't know anything about your son's overseas businesses? Meanwhile, we're about to drop tariffs on China. And how much money did he get from the Chinese energy company? $4.5 million. How about for the Chinese investors? $1.5 billion. And then you want to know if Hunter is impacting the policy of the United States of America? He's taking tariffs off of solar panels so we get them from China. He wants electric cars so we get the batteries from China.
That's crazy. On top of that, we're about to find out about the Reuters report last week, which said that we're getting a strategic oil reserve, and it's going to a Chinese company that Hunter has done work with in the past.
Not only that, Joe Biden said, "Listen, I'm going to tap that strategic petroleum reserve to bring down prices for you." No, he sold it out there so China could get it. It's that simple.
And when he does tap into it, lasts for what, a day and a half here in America?
And it means nothing to us, but China's doing well.
We're continuing to drain it.
Yep.
And the last thing I'll bring up on that is the fact is that Ron Johnson brought up yesterday with Maria that he's afraid that Hunter's just going to cut a deal and this thing's just going to go away behind the scenes. Is that possible?
It's probable. What do you mean possible? It's probable. It's a crime family. But, you know, Hunter and then his Uncle Jim, do you know how many bank transactions have been flagged by the banks between the money that they're doing? I mean, if you had one bank transaction flagged, the FBI would be parked at your house.
350?
For the 350 bank transactions.
Crazy.
They're dealing in the millions. The guy is a drug dealer. He's sleeping with his dead brother's wife. Then he's got kids with more hookers. I don't know, when he shows up at the Medal of Freedom ceremony in the White House, I'm like, which hooker is this and which kid is this?
Not the guy.
Welcome to America.
How does he keep getting these women, though?
Money, money, money that he gets all over. The vacuum cleaner.
Not the right guy to take home today.
Money.
What a topic. And Hunter Biden.
And he tapes it all.
Is Home Department over at Fox Nation. Check it out. Judge Jeanine,
you got to watch it. It's too much.
And we'll watch it.
You have enough video to work with. Believe me.
I did. You're right.
I don't know.
Wait till I do the one on you.
Right. Please. Then I'll have to get rid of my Fox Nation app.
All right.